The morning unfolded like any other, yet there was an unmistakable weight in the air, a silent tension that pressed against my chest. I had known the truth for far longer than I cared to admit. Weeks, maybe even months, of subtle inconsistencies, muted phone conversations, and nights she never quite explained. Caroline thought she was clever, that her secret affair was invisible, protected by her charm and confidence. But I had been watching quietly, noting every slip, every whisper, every lie disguised as routine. I wasn't furious, at least not yet. I wasn't broken either. I was deliberate, patient, allowing the storm to gather strength until the time came to release it. And that moment arrived when she entered the room, calm, certain, utterly unsuspecting. Her voice trembled when she spoke, laced with confusion and an unspoken fear. "Why don't you want me anymore?" she asked, her eyes searching mine for warmth, for reassurance, for forgiveness. But the man who once offered that had long vanished. I caught the faint flicker of panic in her gaze, the beginning of realization that her confidence had crumbled. My lips curved into a slow, steady smile, not out of cruelty, but control, calm, power reclaimed. "Because you already gave what was mine to someone else," I said, each word deliberate, sharp, and final. The color drained from her face. First came confusion, then disbelief, and finally the creeping terror of understanding. She knew instantly that my calmness wasn't ignorance, it was awareness. My silence wasn't weakness, it was strength contained. She faltered, unable to speak, her breath caught somewhere between denial and regret. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she whispered, fragile and trembling, as if words could erase what she'd done. But I had no need to respond. The truth lived in my stillness, in the unflinching certainty of my eyes. Every excuse, every desperate plea fell flat, dissolving into the air between us. She searched my face for softness, for even the smallest sign of forgiveness. But there was none. What she saw instead was a man wounded, but not broken, aware but composed. The room itself seemed to tighten around her as her confidence faded. The woman who once wielded manipulation like a weapon now stood stripped of power, trembling beneath the quiet weight of truth. Time stretched painfully. She shook with exhaustion, overwhelmed by the realization that calm truth can destroy far more deeply than rage ever could. She had misjudged the strength of patience, the devastating quietness of someone who no longer needs to shout to be heard. Her apologies came next, fragile and uneven. For once, she sounded genuine, raw, unguarded. She tried to explain, to soften the blow, to rewrite her choices, but it was pointless. The wound had been dealt. The lesson was already carved into the silence between us. By the end of that night, her arrogance had dissolved into quiet remorse. She finally understood that our bond, once sacred, could never be restored. My restraint had become the hammer that shattered her illusions. She learned that once you give away what is sacred, trust, devotion, love, you cannot reclaim it. I walked away with nothing but peace. I hadn't yelled, begged, or sought revenge. The calm revelation of truth had been enough. More cutting than anger, more lasting than vengeance. She was left with the weight of her choices. I carried my dignity, my strength, and a quiet sense of finality, and in that silence, I found freedom.